I always have a habit of peeling my nails ever since kindergarten. I think I've only used a pair of nail clippers once in my life to clip my fingernails. I have never clipped my fingernails with a pair of nail clippers except
That's
once.
cap. That's cap.
That's not cap. I'm not even joking.
I do have a bad habit actually, or I don't know if it's
Hmm.
bad because probably a lot of other people do it. But whenever I do laundry, sometimes I'll just leave the clothes in the dryer and not take them out and not fold them for like a week, or they'll be in
A
my
week?
basket in my room.
They'll dry
They'll
for a
be-
week.
Hey friends, I'm Tiffany,
And I'm Nick.
and you're listening to the Twisdom Podcast, where your typical twins talking about mental wellness.
And getting better every day. All right, question. What's one habit that you have that you can't get rid of?
One habit that I have that I can't get rid of. That's a really good question.
Just on the top of
um,
your head.
on the top of my head, it's being in my Bible every day. That's a one habit I can't get rid of.
You gotta have something more interesting than that. This is the icebreaker, bro. You gotta have something more interesting than that. I'm sorry.
I
Mhm.
guess one habit that I can't get rid of is washing my hands before I eat, or like using hand sanitizer before I eat, just because I'm not, I don't really like germs. So I just got to make sure I cleanse. But sometimes I do eat without washing my hands, and I'm like, sometimes I send up a quick prayer, please don't let me die from this food. But yeah, that's one habit that's more routine for me.
Hmm. That's so lame. That's not habit. That's
Well,
germophobia. Dang, bro, you are bored. You suck. God. Anyway, well, I guess that's a habit. I mean, my bad habit, for example, is like people bite their fingernails, right?
hmm
And somehow I don't know how does it even break the nail off? It's so gross. I can't bite my fingernails. I always since like kindergarten have been peeling my fingernails. I peel my fingernails when I'm stressed. I peel my fingernails when I'm bored. I like peel the top layer off, right? Like you would cut a fingernail, but I just peel it. And I can't have my finger. I hate long fingernails, so I don't let them grow a certain length. But you always see me peeling my fingernails, and it used to be bad because I would always have the fingernails lying around and whatnot. But I got better at cleaning it up when I got like middle school or whatever. But like, bro, when I was a little kid, I tell you, ever since kindergarten, I think I've only used a pair of nail clippers once in my life to clip my fingernails. I have never clipped my fingernails with a pair of nail clippers except
That's
once.
cap. That's cap.
That's not cap. I'm not even joking. Maybe twice because there's one time where it was really, really like growing crickly, but like I don't count that because I was like cutting a corner. But like cutting a full fingernail, I've never used a pair of fingernails but once. So I always have a habit of peeling my nails, honestly. Okay, let me ask you this. What's one
Wait.
habit?
I do have a bad habit actually, or I don't know if it's
Mhm.
bad because probably a lot of other people do it. But whenever I do laundry, sometimes I'll just leave the clothes in the dryer and not take them out and not fold them for like a week, or they'll be in
A
my
week?
basket in my room.
It'll dry
They'll
for
be-
a week? It just get moldy and crusty. You
I mean,
take it
it's
out. You take it out of the
dry.
dryer.
No, it's dry though.
Oh, it's
I just
dry, all right. It's been there for a week. You take it out of the dryer, it's gonna be sticking together like a Ziploc space bag. You freaking try to unfold it. Oh, that's gross. That's disgusting.
No, I smell them when they come out. They smell fine, and then I put them in my basket. Or sometimes, or in high school, I'll just leave clothes on my bed, and sometimes, because I know I'm not the only one that does this, and I would say I'm working on it, but actually, if I said that, I would be lying. So sometimes in high school, I would leave clothes on my bed and just like push them aside to the bottom of my bed, get in and sleep. Like they would just still be on there, and the next day, same thing. But now I don't leave clothes on my bed and sleep with the clothes on my bed, they'll just be in a basket. So that's we're making progress.
You always used to sleep. I don't know how people do that. My friends do that. They sleep with clothes on their bed. I'm OCD, so I guess I can't really talk. But like, if you sleep with a laundry pile on your bed, bro, you need help. You need help.
Mm.
Get it. Just put it somewhere else. You don't have to fold it, but I'm. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I just want to
that's.
clarify, y'all. He's really has OCD. He's not just like capping, like
I'm not
I'm
just
joking
joking.
about it. Yeah, he really
I'm not
has.
joking. But it's still. I mean, any normal person, I can't sleep with a pile of clothes on my bed. You just like wrap yourself in it when you get cold. Is that what you do? Oh, I need some
No, I
socks. I just
just
grab it from the end of my bed. Yeah,
hey,
I'm
wake up in
the
the morning. This is the shirt I want to wear today. Put it on. No, I don't do that.
one of your clothes always wrinkled. Anyway, what
Me,
habit I've been
you. You don't want to don't iron.
that's another bad habit
You
I
don't want to
don't
didn't
have.
own. You don't own an ironing board.
Call me out like that, bro. That's crazy.
Hey, it's both ways.
I mean, hey, I do iron my clothes. She's lying, bro. I don't keep a full size iron board because some people's apartment's small, but we ain't gonna get on that. I'm even working on that. I'm working on getting a bigger apartment and a bigger iron board for facts.
Mm, mm.
But something I've really been trying to improve on is taking shorter showers. Like scientifically, it's proven that cold showers and shorter showers are more healthy. But for me, I don't know what happens, bro. Every time I get in the shower, I just be dozing off, thinking, and that water be feeling good, bro. It be hot. Like I have to have it steamy, like a sauna. When I get out of the shower, I don't want to see 2 inches in front of my face. Like that's how hot I keep my showers. But to me, it's relaxing. But to my water bill, it's painful. So
That part.
so I've been working on trying to improve that. But I don't know, just thinking about the habits this week, I've been taking a look back at Atomic Habits. For anyone who hasn't read that book yet, Atomic Habits is a really great book. It's kind of like a self-improvement book about what progress is like and how to form better habits. I was taking a look at the book the other day. I finished it a while ago, but try to refocus on what I learned from it and was it working. And for those who haven't read it, the main points are pretty much making your habits ideal, making them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. And then James Clear gives you a bunch of strategies like habit stacking, changing your environment, envisioning your ideal self. All that to say, the main idea is that consistent changes, small consistent changes over time compound. And that's when you start seeing real progress. And the progress isn't linear, but again, when it compounds over time, that's when you get the reward. That's when you get the benefit out of forming good habits. And today, more than ever, we're always trying to pick up better habits, trying to get rid of bad habits. For example, people like picking up new hobbies now, whether it's cooking, exercising, meditating, even doing karate, which, I successfully did for 1 month, right? Like growing up. I did it for
I
like
remember
3
that.
weeks. I could do a roundhouse kick, and I thought I was good enough for a black belt, so I guess I just quit. But honestly, bro, I don't know. It's hard to keep doing anything if it isn't that satisfying or if it isn't that gratifying immediately. I know we always talk about instant gratification, but sometimes it's hard to pick up good habits. Sometimes it's hard just to consistently do something. So I got to ask you, why is it so easy for us to pick up new things one day and then drop them so easily the next day? Like, why is it hard for us to pick up and continue good habits and then drop them so easily the next day? Why is it hard to be consistent? Being consistent is important when you're trying to prove anything, like your physical health or your mental health. But a part of that is understanding how to have and maintain good habits. Why is it so hard for us to do that nowadays?
Mm. Well, first thing I want to mention is when we're talking about habits in this episode, we're basically equating it to like routine behaviors. Because I know there's some research out there that's describes habits as something else, like goal directed or directed goals, or yeah, stimulus response, that type of deal. But for the sake of this episode, we're referring to habits as routine behaviors. But personally, to your question, I think that the reason it's so hard to keep up with habits is because, one, we it's new to us. That routine behavior might be new to us. Like if we're just starting that habit, if we're just trying to form it, it is new to us, and our body, not our body, but like just our human mind isn't used to this newness, because maybe we've had old habits in the past that, or old routines in the past that we have clung to, and now we're just trying to shift something all of a sudden. Well, it's going to take our mind and body some time to get used to the repetition of this new habit, and that's where we might, start it one day and then forget to do it the next day because our body isn't used to that repetition of repeating that habit. And so that's why it takes some time and more so some self-control, self-discipline, to continue with that repetition to form that habit.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, when you were mentioning that, I was thinking of like the saying, humans are creatures of habit. Like,
Mm,
so when you think about human nature, we're more prone to fall into habits because they're more comfortable. We like patterns, the way we
mm-hmm,
think, the way we behave. We like the familiarity because when it comes to survival, whether you want to think about instinct or whatnot, we're more comfortable in things that we can predict and
mm-hmm,
things that serve us better consistently led to more survival, right? But
mm-hmm.
when you think about us being creatures of habit, it's also about the bad habits too.
I think it's hard for us to break bad habits just because it is so easy to go to that habit because it is a routine behavior. It's so easy and familiar to go to. And so you would keep going to it, whether that's, drinking or um, just, being late all the time. We have that pattern already kind of ingrained in our brain to keep doing that, and so that's what we find easy, that's what we find most comfort in. And to break out of that comfort, to break out of that uncertainty, to break out of that habit, that is where it becomes difficult and requires, some extra tools, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like going into that unknown, basically.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
we're familiar with a habit, whether it's good or bad, we're comfortable with it. So it's really hard for us to break it. And then when we pick up a new habit, it's kind of like, okay, we have to retrain our brain a little bit to make that habit familiar to us. And we got to make it easy. We got to make it accessible, kind of like what James Clear talks about in Atomic Habits. We got to make the habit itself more attractive, essentially. And I don't know. I was thinking like really quickly to pivot. You mentioned being late. That's another habit I'm trying to improve on. I don't know if a lot of people watching this know about BPT or CPT, Black People Time, Color People Time. I swear,
Mm.
I'm always like 10 minutes late to everything. Like you text me, um, oh, we're already here, and I'm gonna tell you we're gonna be there in 20 minutes. I haven't even put on clothes yet, but like I just woke up. Like you text me, be here at 4 o'clock. You can guarantee I'm gonna be anywhere between 4:10 and about 4:50. Like I'll be leaving the house at 4 o'clock. Like yeah, Black people time, color people time is real. I
Mm.
gotta be better. I gotta be more punctual. But
And I gotta add to that.
mhm,
Sometimes I'm late, sometimes I'm not late. I try to be on time, but that doesn't always happen. Even sometimes I wake up early and I'll still not be on time at wherever I'm going. But yeah, just I just wanted to say, like, when I am late or when I'm on my way to that destination and I'm late, I get anxious because I'm late. And so that's why I try to, mitigate the anxiety by showing up on time. But that doesn't always happen.
honestly, right? Like another point to pivot off of that. You set a mechanism to try to help you get on time more often. I even set my clocks like 5 minutes past what, like, the current time, so it would make me seem like I'm always late, it make me seem like I need to try harder, but even that didn't help me get on time. Like, I would keep my car clock, like, 10 minutes well, it was, like, 7 minutes ahead. I would keep my, like, room clock maybe, like, 3 minutes ahead, and in the kitchen, maybe, like, a couple minutes, and then I would always look at the clock and like, "Okay, it's already 4 o'clock, blah, blah, blah." And then 3 minutes later, I haven't left the door. You texted me 10 minutes ago. I said I was on my way. I haven't left the house.
Shaking
But
my
that's
head.
it. I'm
SMH.
telling you. But that mechanism, you brought up a great point. Trying to think about how to make habits more attractive, how to easily get into habits and keep up with them, setting up mechanisms like that actually do work. So when I thought about how do I make habits more attractive, how to make habits easy to keep up with, I was thinking about that piggy bank that I had in my room growing up as a
The
kid.
light stoplight.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
Mhm.
we would always put our pennies and nickels and dimes, any like loose change we would carry in that piggy bank every time we come home. In a way, forming good habits is also like putting money into a piggy bank, because with this piggy bank particularly, it would always stay in my room. So every time we got home, the first thing we would do is take all the change out of our pocket, put it in the piggy bank, and watch it
Bloop, bloop,
stack over
bloop,
time.
bloop, bloop. That's
Right,
the
right,
that's the
right.
sound of the money falling, y'all.
And it was a convenient place to store all that loose change, and over time we end up having maybe like 40-50 dollars worth. I think that one time during the summer we cashed out like 35-37 dollars. It didn't seem like a lot at the time when we started, but after maybe like 3 months, all that small investing compounded, and that habit that we formed of always putting our loose change in this piggy bank paid off. So let's analyze that. The piggy bank analogy for improving habits. How do we make storing money or getting rid of loose change attractive? Because we would always have trouble finding where to put that loose change. No one keeps loose change in their wallets anymore, or their pockets. It's annoying, right?
Mhm,
So that piggy bank, one, made storing the money attractive because it was a convenient place to put the money. Two, we made it accessible because we changed the environment in my room to put it like right near the door. So when we walk past my room, we get home, put the money in, and go about our business. And another part of that mechanism is the timing. We set a set time for us to continue this habit. Every time we got home, we got in that routine of going straight to the piggy bank, emptying out our pockets, and just put it in there. To recap, we made this habit attractive because we affected the environment, right? We put it in a convenient place where we could always reach it. We set a time for us to continue the habit, and that's right when we got home and emptied our wallets, emptied our pocket, right? And that progress was small at first, but over time we kept seeing the height of the pennies grow and grow, and then end up compounding into giving us like 30, 40, $50. So
mhm,
in a way, keeping up with good habits, you kind of have to think of it like a piggy bank. You're
mm,
not going to have a lot at first, but when you keep continuing to do it and you make it convenient or you make it
mm,
attractive, it's going to stick with you.
mm. I like that. And as you were talking about this piggy bank analogy, I was thinking about the weightlifting analogy and how it's
Mm.
similar. Like when you first go to the gym, you ain't gonna be able to. Well, most people probably wouldn't be able to pick up 50 and just do some curls. No, like you have to start off with the lowest amount of weight that you can do, and it requires repetition and consistency to continue to increase that weight. However, if let's just say you work out and you lift 20 pounds of curls for 3 weeks, and then you stop going to the gym for 2 months. Well, when you return back to the gym, you might not be able to pick up that 20 pound, but you can pick up the one that you can pick up, which might be the 10 pound, and just restart. Like there's always that opportunity to I guess retrain your brain to forming a habit. Even if you do it and you fall off, that repetition and self discipline is key right there. And that reminds me of like that penny bank. You put money in, um, and continue to put money in until like you feel like you've reached your goal. So,
I really like that analogy. Actually, that's like restarting because that's a big component of keeping up habits. The issue is a lot of times you're not just gonna start a habit and just continue it forever. You're gonna
mm-hmm,
drop it a couple of times. You got to relearn it. You got to pick it up again, just like those weights. You're gonna go maybe a month without hitting the gym, and you got to go back and start at a lower weight.
mm-hmm,
That's a perfect way to think about, how challenging it is to maintain a habit. But like you said, you're not gonna go back to like 1 pound. You're probably gonna drop maybe like 10 pounds or so, and you keep continuing it. And that's the biggest component of making habits stick is, yeah, you gotta make it attractive, but you also gotta understand how progress works. It isn't linear. And that's the flip
mm-hmm.
side. A lot of people think that, oh, I'm gonna start a habit today, and in 21 days, that's the magic number, right? It takes 21 times to make it a habit, which is it's been debunked. That's totally a myth. But no, it's not going to take 21 days. You're going to drop that habit in 22 days and then come back and have to start where you left off or even further back. But progress isn't linear. The idea of compounding is that those small changes over time build and gain momentum. So if you go to the gym, maybe like twice a week, you start building strength and you start feeling like, hey, I can start going to the gym more often, or I can start lifting weights at home on my off days. And that's when those habits compound and you start to see you get healthier. You start to see yourself get stronger, maybe 4, maybe 5 months down the line, even 3 months.
Mm,
Compounding can be quicker for some cases, but the flip side is you got to understand that progress isn't linear. It's going to
mm-hmm.
take time, but when it does hit, it's going to compound and it's going to grow rapidly, and you'll see that momentum.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And speaking on just habits and habit formation, I'm sure we all have habits that we have started and maybe gave up on, or we came in with a new year because like New Year's resolutions, and then
Yee,
maybe we do
we
it for a
lost
couple
those.
weeks and then we fall off the wagon. Why did I say so? Why did I sound so country? Wagon, fall off the wagon with
Wagon.
it. I think I was thinking about a different word, but yeah, we'll just say wagon. Because I think that's the actual idiom or whatever. But
Mhm.
anyways, those habits that we try to form but then we don't end up doing. And I wanted to ask you, have you had any of those types of habits that you tried to form them and it didn't work out? And if so, like what do you think went wrong in that situation?
Hmm. Trying to think. Um, I've been trying to stretch more, like yoga and all that stuff, because throughout the day, I realize like I sit down a lot,
Mm,
for my job and just for other activities. But I try to set a habit to stretch in the morning, and I tried that for about a couple months.
I remember
Um,
that.
dog, bro, I got really, really flexible. I'm not a flexible person, but I was able to like actually, do a lot of yoga poses I could never do before within like a couple months, and then
Pause.
oh,
Pause.
mhm.
I remember when we were growing up, Nick would he couldn't touch his toes. I don't know if he can still, not to call him out or anything, but he would be like, "Can you push my back down? Push my back down so I can touch my toes." And that wouldn't work, but hey, it was worth the shot.
That's what I was trying to work on.
Oh, sorry.
Little have you know, after 2 months, I was able to touch my toes again.
Oh, he did it,
Like, so
y'all. He did it.
I did
Let's
it like for the
go.
first time, and I noticed my hamstrings were a lot looser. My back was feeling better. I would, not have as near as much back pain. But I don't know. Somewhere down the line, I just stopped doing it because the time was inconvenient, it would be right before work.
Mm,
And then, some days, like you said, I'd be waking up late and I just didn't have time to do it. And it just fell off. And I noticed my, flexibility decrease again. Um, yeah, no, that's something I really be trying to pick up and I failed at. And the only thing I can point to why I wasn't able to continue it is it was attractive in the fact that I was finally able to touch my toes. But no, you know, I felt a lot looser when I worked out. Didn't get hurt as much, but it was the timing. The environment was great. Like, get in the morning, I set a yoga mat. I'm set my yoga mat in the middle of my living room to force me to look at it every time I walk to the kitchen. So that made the habit apparent, right? And then all I had to do was step on the yoga mat, stretch for 10 minutes. But the time was not convenient. Right before work was not easy. So I think moving forward I need to work, or maybe just stretch after work or stretch right before I go to bed or something. I don't know, just to pick it back
mm.
up again.
Yeah, so figuring out the timing, that sounds like a key piece before we go into, like how do we help ourselves with, forming these habits. Timing sounds like a key piece of finding a time that works best for you, finding a time where you feel that you would be most efficient. I know, and when I was in college and grad school, they would, I think dad actually gave me this advice. I don't know, but he's like, find a time that where you feel that you can be the most productive with your schoolwork. And for me, that was morning. But then sometimes I was just forced to do it after classes in the afternoon. But sometimes I would just wake up early and do some schoolwork, and I would just feel the most efficient in that. And so that's where maybe, and that's where some of my habits are actually built into my morning. But you also said, I want to go back to the word that you used when you were talking about the stretching thing. You said
Mm,
that you failed at it. And
mm,
I just want to lift you up and say, I wouldn't, like, failing isn't, it might not be the most beneficial way to look at habits because you, like you said, it is nonlinear. And so you might not fail, you just might be at a pause in that habit and you could pick it back up. Because I feel that when we have the mindset of failure, we're just like, no, all or nothing. Like, either I do it all the time or either I stop.
mm,
Well, that might not be the best mental mechanism to help us through our habits. So having more self compassion could be good too.
mm. Really good points. I mean, hey, we already putting actionable steps into action, honestly. Like you said, time is the biggest actionable step you can start with today. If you have a habit you're working on, figure out what time would be best to initiate that habit. What's convenient, what's effective. Just think about the timing when you do your habit. And the second thing I'd say actionable steps is figure out the environment that surrounds the habit. If it's you want to floss more when you brush your teeth, put your floss beside your toothbrush. And that way you always see it when you brush your teeth. Those are two steps I can think of that will start helping you improve keeping up with your habits starting today, honestly.
Yeah. And I want to add on to that of, making the habit more attractive. Something else that is could be helpful is having an accountability partner, someone who you can, check in with to see, hey, have you done this today? Or, hey, how's it going after a week? Like, how was it this week to get whatever habit you had done? Um, and also maybe getting a tracker. I have a tracker for some of my habits. It's like a,
Like
daily
a
tracker you can
planner or yeah.
check off each day that you do, because that, if you're a visual person like me, that could help just to see, oh, I did this. And also you get some gratification, instant gratification out of checking off that box, just like how you would a to-do list. Not saying that all your habits need to be forced into being a to-do task, but because we want to make sure that your some habits you don't have to say so on if it's enjoyable or not, but the ones that you do want to implement to benefit you, then they might be enjoyable. So you want to. to the best of your abilities, try to make the habit enjoyable. Um, yeah, I guess that's all I have. And remember what I said like a few minutes ago is just having compassion for yourself. It's okay if you don't, if you miss a day, if you miss a week, if you miss a month, you always have time and space to pick it back up whenever you feel ready to.
Facts. Just to wrap it up, like you said, you're not failing. You just dropped it one day. Just got to pick it back up. You didn't fail. You just dropped it. Pick the habit back up. And like you said, accountability partner, like having this is why having a twin comes in handy, because like I said, we always had competition.
Mm-hmm.
And you started brushing your teeth with like whitening toothpaste and started flossing more maybe around middle school, and I got jealous because your teeth would always be whiter than mine. So I was like, nah, I can't have that. So I got in a competition of also buying me some whitening toothpaste and flossing my teeth more, and I kept you as an accountability partner for my dental hygiene. So it works. It works. But let us know in the comments if y'all have any other tips, or let us know some habits that you've been trying to improve. And let's try to come together and see if we can figure out how to make those habits, the good habits, stick and get rid of the bad habits.
Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in to this episode. We'll see y'all on the next episode.